you know the artist XXX I'm sure y'all heard of him. It's he's one of the artists that I favor most, along with all other artists. I don't really have a favorite artist because I listen to all type of music in different genres and things like that. So it's hard for me to say. My all-time top favorite, like overall, is Nipsey Hussle, but under him, it's probably Juice WRLD, Tupac, um, uh, Rod Wave, and a few others. I like some rock bands too. But anyways, since we're talking about X right now, we're talking about the laws of the universe. So he was a great advocate on the laws of the universe and getting knowledge and freeing your mind of, like, the traps and the false images that the world tries to give out to us as people. I don't believe that, like, you putting things out into the universe, it just automatically happens, because that's just not how it works. Like, you can't just say something's gonna happen and it just pop up, because then that's kind of defeats the purpose of God and kind of downplays, like, the ideology of God. And, like, like, I don't really got to explain that to you. Like, you know who God is, you know what God is, etc., etc. So basically saying, like the whole putting things into the universe and it coming right back out is just, I don't believe that, but I definitely believe that there are connections to that, and I'm gonna explain on those. Like, there's 7 laws of the universe, and I believe in, so there's 7 laws of the universe, and you gotta study them, because not only are we on a physical state on the earth right now, but we are on a mental state and a spiritual state right now, and that determines a lot of how our life goes and how we look at it to be. So, number one, for example, he was like, well, I'm gonna talk about his views. Like, he says, study your laws of the universe, study the karmic cycle, study the law of cause and effect, vibrations, gestation, transmutation, what was it? Relativity. That's a good law, actually. Relativity. That's actually a law. Relativity, and there's a few others. I have them written down. The law of rhythm too, and polarity. There's, like, there's a north, south, east, west. There's always the opposite to things. Like, not there. When there's a bad, there's a good. When there's light, it's dark. When there's when it's the sun, it's the moon, etc., etc. Like, so those things that I just named, those are very real things that are out here. Those are the laws of the universe, per se. I've been doing some research on them myself on my own time, and I definitely do see some benefit in those. Like for you all though, I definitely see some benefit in those. Like, there are certain things in life that you cannot change, and but the one thing that you can change and the one thing that you can improve is your mind. You don't ever want to be in a position to where you don't know. And I said this before, one of the biggest weaknesses that man has, or that humans have right now, is that they are unintelligent. They are very unintelligent. I'm not talking about getting PhDs and masters and bachelors. I'm not talking about that type of. I'm not talking about academic intelligence. I'm talking about the worldly earth intelligence, like earthly intelligence and common sense. Like, people have been blinding their common sense with things such as, like, just social media, and watching TV and getting into this false reality of life is supposed to go like a TV show, and it's just been peaches and cream, and there's, like, plot twists and things like that. Like, people's, like, perception of the world is, like, so right now. You know what I'm saying? You know the word I'm talking about. But it's so messed up right now. And yeah, and that's a bad thing though, because one of his biggest theories was, you are always enslaved until you free your mind. Like, you will always forever be enslaved until you free your mind. No matter how much money you have, no matter how much how much how many people no matter any of that, like, you will always be enslaved until you free your mind. And that is a very true thing. A lot of times, that was I'll bring it back to that. Like, that was one of the biggest things in slavery. Like, so the theory back then was keep the body and take the mind. So a lot of African Americans who were slaves, they were unintelligent. They tried to suppress them. They didn't allow them to read or write. They didn't, they wanted them to be as unintelligent as they possibly could, because if they realized their true power and their true purpose, then slavery would have never been a thing. It would have been over with, because they'd have overpowered them, and, like, it would have been done right then and there. So they wanted to keep their physical their physical body, their physical character intact, but keep their mental off and thrown off balance. They took their mental and threw it off balance. So that's still the state that we're in now. We are in a mental slavery that's going on right now, because 90% of people, like my generation too, like I'm Generation Z, but 90% of my generation, and even those before, like they're still stuck in that slave mentality, which is like, get brainwashed, get your mind distracted by other things, distracting us from what's actually going on in the world, and distracting us from finding out who we are as a people. They want us to be fat, they want us to be lazy, they want us to be all these other things, and we are just accepting that and not doing anything to change that at all. And so that's really a big issue that's going on. And this is really just the overview. I can make more in-depth videos about like the specific laws, but right now I'm just talking about the overall effect that my experience and what I've had dealing with it. And so there's the laws of the universe, and then there's the master key. And the master key is basically for those who want great things in their life, such as myself. And just putting yourself into that mindset of I can do it instead of I can't is just a dream. Putting yourself into that lifestyle instead of being, oh, I can't, is just a dream. So the master key essentially is, you're thinking about, or you have all your goals written down. Like I always say, keep a notebook, keep all your things written down, write all your goals down, all your dreams, sit there, close your eyes, really think or imagine yourself in that lifestyle. Imagine yourself being in that position to where you have everything that you ever wanted in life, right? Have yourself in that, be who you want it to be, who you want to be in your mind, right? Once you're done with that, you sit there and religious, I'm gonna keep religion out of this, but you sit there and you visualize the end goal of what you want to be. And you go to sleep, you wake up, and every day you write down goals. You have certain specific goals that you have that's gonna get you closer and closer and closer to the end goal, which is your goals, whatever they may be. Like whatever it is, you have specific goals, and every day you accomplish something that gets you closer to them. And you go through day by day with an open mind, knowing that you can't get mad about the things that you can't control. Don't get mad about the things you can't control. Don't spend time focusing on little things, little events that happen, or little distractions that people try to throw at you. And don't let yourself get distracted. Make sure that you keep an open mind, and you go through life such as that. But don't go through life oblivious. Make sure that you're still thinking about every decision that you make, and know that every decision that you make has an effect, that has an effect, and that can either be good or bad. But know that if it's good, then it's going to be a bad somewhere else, and if it's a bad mistake, then it's going to be something good somewhere else. You get what I'm saying? It's obviously, that's the law of polarity, number 4. So there's always a bad and a good. So that's the master key, and I haven't been on it as much as I need to. I'm gonna get back to studying them more, like I should, or like I haven't been. But definitely, I'm just sharing this with you all because this is something that you should look in for sure. Because do I 100% believe in the whole, the universe thing and helping, and whatever you want, you get with the snap of a finger and just by a thought? No. Actions lead to results. So you need to work for the things that you want in life. But I also believe that God has your own plan. God has his own plan for you. So if you are thinking of a plan that's other than what God wants for you, then it's not going to work no matter how hard you talk to the universe. End it right here though, for real. But that's just my personal experience with the laws of the universe, and I'm going to continue to keep on pursuing those goals and pursuing that whole, that whole thinking of that. And, obviously never keep your mind enslaved. Always keep your mind free and ready to, escape a lot of the, the restrictions that they have on us. DG4L, we always lit, feel me? And let's break free and get this money off. No fun, yeah. It's like, nah, it's scary. Rock me real slow.